This is verse 29 of the 8th chapter, Gospel of Matthew. We're in the midst of the story Matthew tells about Jesus coming to the region of the Gadarenes, otherwise known as the Decapolis. It's generally regarded as Gentile territory, one of those rare occasions when Jesus makes a foray into areas that are outside the jurisdiction, strictly speaking, of Israel. And here he encounters, according to Matthew, two characters that are both demon-possessed coming out of the tombs, out of the cemetery. And the story picks up Kai, the connective, and Idu. This is an interjection. Look, behold, see it. Ekroxon. This is from krodzo. Means to cry out. This is the third person plural, aorist active indicative. They cried out. Not altogether clear in the text whether it's referring to the two men. Certainly they are the ones crying out, but whether they're doing so in a sense with personal self-consciousness or it's the demons within them that are crying out. Commentators tend to go both ways on that. And it does have some bearing on how the rest of the statement is interpreted. So behold, they cried out, legontes, saying, this is a present participle in the nominative masculine plural, present, so they cried out, saying, and then te, the interrogative pronoun, what, hemen, to us, this is the first person plural dative pronoun, what to us, kai, the connective, soi, second person dative singular, to thee. Jesus asked his mother when he was about to turn the water into wine in that narrative in John 2. Ti emoi kai soi, similar, except the hemen was changed to the first person singular. It was idiomatic. It was a common expression. It's a way of asking what do we have in common, what common ground do we share, what common interests give rise to this invasion, you might say, of your presence in my world, sort of thing. It's that idea. And so that's what these men are crying out, or the demons inspiring them to cry this out. So they cried out saying, what do we have to do with thee? What common ground do we share? Why should we be sharing in any kind of sort of common interest with you? They address him huie. This is from huios, means son. It's the vocative, so son to theou, of the God. They recognized him. Again, of course, we would assume it's the demons that are speaking here who would have, you might say, a sixth sense as to the real spiritual realities that were unfolding before them. So they cried out, what do we have to do with you? Eilthes, this is an interrogative, really, second person singular. Aorist active, indicative of erchomai. Have you come? It's a question mark we can see from the end of this. So have you come? Hoda. It's an indeclinable adverb, means here or hither. Have you come here? Pro, preposition, takes the genitive. Pro kairo, before the kairos. Kairos, as opposed to chronos, means a time of significance, sometimes eschatological time, as opposed to chronology, which has to do with the simply linear measure of time. So have you come before the time of great weight, the time that's loaded with significance, the eschatological time? Have you come here prematurely? Basanise, from basanidzo, to torment us. This is the aorist infinitive. So if you come here too early, prematurely, to torment, hemas, us, the accusative of the second person pronoun. Assuming it's the demons speaking, of course, it does betray some idea that they knew their doom was hanging out there in the future, that they were looking forward to it. It was inescapable. But they also knew there was a timetable involved, and that the time, at least as far as they were concerned, had not yet arrived, and that this vision of Jesus intruding himself into the world was giving rise to the protest that he was there too soon. If we understand that's the demons that are speaking. Otherwise, if you put the words into the conscious understanding of the men, then it leads in a different direction. The men may be having some intuition of their own doom, by virtue of their own sinful behavior. That could be, at this point, it simply remains a bit of an ambiguity in the text.